Hello, my crafty friends. It's Marie from Mariesvermontcreations, and it is day 10 of the Countdown to Christmas card series for 2025 with Michele from Scrap Secrets. And the theme for today was clean and simple. So I'm taking this Lawn Fawn die and I cut it out of an A2 size panel, and then I'm going to take a slightly smaller panel and adhere these strips of pattern paper. I have to say I do struggle with clean and simple cards because I always want to add more and more and more. So I'm just using some tape runner to cover this entire panel so that I can put down my strips of cardstock or pattern paper. I did cut these probably to about 3/4 of an inch. You could go 1/2 an inch. You could vary the size of them if you wanted. And then I just picked out some random papers from my stash and I'm going to adhere them on. So I'm doing that. First of all, I'd like to shout out to Morgan, my friend and coworker, who asked me for a shout out on my scrapbook tales. So not quite sure what she thought that was, but we did get a good chuckle out of that. I am coordinating with Michele from Scrap Secrets, and we are bringing you 2 projects a week for 25 total projects between now and Christmas. At the end of this, I will be doing a giveaway. I will randomly select one video from this series and pick my winner from there. So the more you comment, the more your chances are to be entered into the giveaway. I am going to link Michele's channel down below, and I will have the playlist for 2023 and 2024. So if you wanted to go back and watch old videos, you can definitely do that. And then at the end of this video, I will have the playlist for 2025 so that you can see all of the projects that we've been working on. And we've tried throughout the 3 years that we've been doing this to not duplicate techniques or themes that we've selected. So we've been trying to keep them different, to give you as much inspiration as we can. And so I just trimmed off all the excess pattern paper, and I am looking for my cutout so I can make sure that that one like maroon pattern in the middle, I didn't quite have it all the way to the edge, and I wanted to make sure that that didn't show. So that's all I was doing there. And then I'm just going to continue to finish adding to this panel. This blue piece wasn't really even necessary. You can't even see it, but I added it anyway. And then I will again trim off the extra. And then I am going to take the same tape runner and run it along the back panel. That's how I will adhere that. But first, I am going to stamp my sentiment, I believe. And I am just choosing, I was originally going to do one of the more scripty fonts, but it was a little too big for my frame. So I am just putting down this very thin Merry Christmas, and I'm using my stamp block and my black ink to stamp that down. And then I will realize that I stamped it on the back of the panel, because there is some piercing detail from the die, and that was definitely not the side that I stamped. So I will flip it over and stamp it on the correct side. So just showing you that these things happen, and it's on the other side of the paper, and nobody will be any the wiser. So this is when I was going to add my adhesive, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right. So I will stamp it a second time, and thankfully with this VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, it stamps really well, so I don't have to worry about using my stamp positioner. I just use the stamp block. And so I will add the adhesive to the back of this panel, and then I will get that panel added on, and then I'll use my liquid glue to adhere that to the card base, which is an A2 size card base. And that is going to be the entire, my front panel is the entire size of the A2 card base, because with that die cut out, it didn't leave much room on the edges, so I went with a full panel. I normally like to use a little bit of a smaller one, but for this particular one, I went with the full size sheet. And then I'm just going to glue that down and get that adhered to the card panel when I find it in the pile of mess that I have that I call a desk. So that is going to be the project for today. I hope that you'll check out Michele's channel. Like I said, I will have that listed down below. And if you have any comments or questions for me, definitely feel free to leave them for me down below. I always like reading everyone's comments and what you guys are working on and things that you enjoy from the Christmas series, or things that you'd like to see. And there is our project for today. If there's anything you think it should have added, definitely feel free to let me know that as well. And as always, I hope that you have a great day.